Back in 2022, the Board of Education spent quite a lot of time developing its new strategic plan. And if you go back and watch those videos, you will see that there were multiple times that the 7 of us had very strong disagreements about what was going to be placed in that strategic plan. I'm proud that that strategic plan passed with a 7-0 vote and that we were able to reach a consensus. And part of that was being able to listen to one another with open minds and looking at, okay, why is another board member coming to us with a certain proposal that I may disagree with, and how can we reach common ground? And we did reach common ground, and you saw that with a 7-0 vote.
Yeah, so as an entrepreneur, this has happened often because I had 50 employees, and my leadership team at my last company was about 7 actual leaders. We had what they called them I called them directors. I was at that table and I had directors. There were 7 of us. I was in that meeting as a voting member, is the way that I structured it. So just because Landon McCarter wanted to do a certain thing didn't mean that my staff, who I had trusted to lead other individuals under them, thought that that was the best move. And so there was many times where I defaulted to a plan or a strategy or a challenge, sort of a solution to a challenge that my team brought up that was different than mine. I had a very diverse leadership, team as well. We had older individuals, we had younger individuals, we had many different, backgrounds, et cetera. So this happened all the time, and it really, honestly, turned out to be the best way to govern my company, and really led to amazing results. Is Landon McCarter isn't always right, and when he's not right, then I can submit to what the team sort of wants to do.
I had a hard time thinking of a time where I was just really involved in a very strong difference. I think if you end up in a situation and people are on different sides, you need to define the problem. You need to back up, and you need to clearly define the problem. When you define the problem, then you can list solutions. When you list the solutions, you can narrow it down. What will work? What might not work as well? What 2 steps do you need to solve the problem? But you've got to be able to collaborate. You've got to be able to give and take. It's kind of like a partnership. You've got to come to a situation where both sides win. A partnership, when both sides move forward, they have a win to take back. And our school board, our schools, our society, we need a lot of partnerships. We need win-win situations.
There have been several incidents, examples I can come up with, where there's been a strong differences of opinion, and we've worked to find a solution. And I'll tell you, a lot of people have turned to me because I collaborate well with the whole board. No matter where they sit at the table, their positions on things, I am very comfortable calling them up, talking to them, talking through their thoughts, and me providing them details on where I stand with things, and in the end, collaborating together to do what's right for SPS and the students of Springfield Public Schools.
I had the honor and privilege of serving on the district's discipline review board in 2022. And during that time, there was a discussion about the inequities that we saw in discipline rates between students of color and non-students of color. And there were a lot of conversations about whether it's poverty that explains this disparity or if it's race. And there's a back and forth, people kind of bringing their own previous perspectives and ideologies. And I just said, well, what does the data say? What does the data say? And so we requested the data. We got some crosstabs to look at race, and also looked at free and reduced lunch, which is a proxy for class. And lo and behold, we found out it's both race and class shape these experiences. So bottom line, I think for me, my approach to everything is I'm a data-driven guy. I'm a researcher, so when I try to make a decision, I don't rely on my ideology, I rely on what the data says. And I think we need more people who are willing to have data-driven solutions, because I think that's the way that we bridge these ideological divides.
So throughout my life, I've always been chosen to be a leader of everything I've done. For this example of where we've had 2 opinions coming together, when I was chapter director of fraternity at MSU, we had quite a divide right down the middle on a couple subjects. Without going too into the details, I was able to direct those 2 groups to come together when times looked bad and they said, well, if we don't get our way, we'll just walk away. And I showed them what what we were all trying to get to, the final outcome. And with that in mind, taught these young men how to come together, how to follow each other's example, how to, kind of agree to disagree, and then for the final solution. I think that's something we need on our board right now.
A recent example happened last week. It's no secret that I've had some criticism of the current mathematics curriculum. And I had an opportunity to visit with, in my role as a citizen, with somebody who is perhaps the biggest proponent of said curriculum. And I had an opportunity to practice this and learn about it, implement it. I tutor students in an elementary school. I use that, the tenets of that curriculum. And so we had an opportunity to really visit about it. And during this course, and this wasn't something short, but this was extensive, what was incredible is that we both walked away in complete agreement on the pros and cons of said curriculum, on why it works and why it doesn't work. And it's going to change my perspective moving forward. And I know that it's going to change the perspective of this individual moving forward when we next have to have a discussion about this subject matter.